it gets a little bit more, I wouldn't say it actually, it's not even really more complex. We actually use the same exact numbers, and I'm just going to breeze through this. This is, if you look up top, is just hard money and private money. And essentially all we're doing is, when I say that Lior and I don't have 137, we both wish we had, hundreds of thousands of dollars just sitting liquid in a checking account, but we don't. So what we do to fund that down payment, Lior said 550, 20% down, 25% down is 137,000. We use what's called a private money lender. And we can talk a little bit more about that. A private money lender initially is your mom, your dad, your uncle, your cousin, anybody who has some cash laying around. And I know the next objection. Well, I don't have any rich uncles or cousins or moms. Private money lender, there is money around you. You just haven't gone out and found good deals yet. When you find good deals and you have a track record for going out and finding undervalued properties, money appears from everywhere, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along. But basically, a private money lender is just basically initially somebody probably that's connected to you, somebody who's probably seeing your resume grow, and then it springboards from there into other people. Your aunt did a deal with you, and she was successful, and your aunt told her coworker about it, and somebody else from there. So it kind of grows from there. And private money lenders, in our experience, typically tend to be, let's call it, and I'm stereotyping here, but let's call it a successful dentist, somebody who has a dental practice, and they are working 70 hours a week on their dental practice, and that's all they do. They have a little bit of money in the stock market, but they're not really not a big fan of the stock market. It's very volatile, and they know they want to diversify their retirement savings or anything outside of that stock market. So they're looking for somebody like you, a real estate investor, who can provide them with a good return. So in most of our private money lenders, we're paying 10, 12% to on an annual basis for the use of their money. So we might borrow this 137.5 from a private money lender, and the cost of their payment, their interest payment, is basically just rolled into this $50,000 carrying cost that you see on this sheet. And then everything else from there is the same. We can just skip right back down to the last line. When you have that property that's worth $1 million, the bank says, yes, we can do an 80-20 loan to value ratio on it, meaning we can give you out a max loan of $800,000. You pay back your hard money lender the $612,500, and instead of you paying yourself back, you've basically just gone back and you've paid the $187,550 or $187,500 to your private money lender. And their interest payment, their interest was included in that carrying cost up above, out of that $50,000 carrying cost you see there. So you still, in this example, could walk in with no money and end up at the end of the day with $1 million piece of property, created $200,000 in equity for yourself, and be putting money into your property, putting money into your pocket every month because that property is cash flowing. Lior, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, it really is the same exact concept, except you're basically switching out your money for a private money lender's money, right? So the numbers of the deal are exactly the same. Now, the only thing we'll talk about is how do you pay your lender, right? So Willie mentioned sometimes we pay them a fixed interest rate. So you might just have to really calculate for that when you're thinking about your carrying costs. Maybe you want to divvy up the deal, right? Maybe instead of paying them a fixed interest rate, you give them kind of a better incentive where you give them a little bit ownership. We can talk more about that. But somehow the only difference is you just gotta account of how you're gonna pay the lender for the money. Other than that, all the numbers are literally exactly the same. It's the same concept. It's just someone else's money riding with you.
Yep. So I have two questions really quickly, and I'm going to answer them really quickly for you. What percentage are you paying your private money lenders? Again, somewhere in between 10 and 12. The beauty of private money is it's all negotiable. It's not like you're working with a hard money lender who has more of a structured offering for you. You're not working with a commercial lender, a little bit more structured. You negotiate the terms, you negotiate when the payments come, you negotiate the length of the contract, everything else. And you basically, if you're brand new, you just probably, sit down with an attorney, you and the private money lender, and put all that to paper. But, we've done it at this point so often that we have our own templates that we feel comfortable with, that we basically just alter, as we see fit, depending on what the lender's needs are. So again, what interest rate are you typically with private lenders? I like the interest rate of 12% because it's very easy for everyone to calculate.